If this is your first time playing Elden Ring Nightreign, or you are a beginner in the Elden Ring franchise and you have no idea which character build to use in order to cheese the game or to make the game extremely easy, then this video is for you. Today we are diving into the most powerful build in Elden Ring Nightreign. This character build has access to summons that can help you distract your enemies whilst you continuously summon grades from a distance for massive damages to your enemies. This character also has a lot of FP since she is considered a caster. I will explain everything step by step on how to easily get the various items and weapons that you would need for this build. And you do not need any experience at all. This video is to help beginners chase the game at the very start of the game. Stay tuned and kindly subscribe to the channel as it shows massive support to the channel. So the very first thing you would need for this build is the Revenant, which is an unlockable character in the game. She is not part of the main characters that come with the game, so you would have to unlock her first. Unlocking her is very easy. I have made a very special video on how to unlock the Revenant. I will put the link in the description box below. Kindly pause the video and check it out if you have not unlocked her already. However, if you have already unlocked her, then let us get into the rest of the item that you will need for this build. So the very key item you will need in this build is to get the item known as the Wraith Calling Bell, which you can get either at large tombstones in graveyards, or if you have a relic that gives this to you at the start of each run. And trust me, that is the only compulsory item you will need for this build. In order to get a bell, sometimes you might get lucky and be dropped at a graveyard on your run. Other times, you will have to keep looking out for graveyards in order to get a bell. If you are not so lucky sometimes, you might visit 2 or 3 graveyards before you finally get a bell. In whichever case, try restarting the run until the game drops you off at one of the graveyards if you are having a hard time getting the bell. The next easy way of getting the bell is by acquiring a relic that gives you the bell at the start of each run. Having this relic makes it so much easier as it always gives you the bell, so you would not have to be looting graveyards. However, getting this relic is a little bit tricky. I got mine from buying Scenic Flagstone from Small Jar Bazaar at the round table. In order to do that, just follow this path ahead from the round table, take a left turn and you will see a big pot standing right there. Talk to the pot to purchase items and head straight down to the last item on the list. A Scenic Flagstone gives you random relics which you have no idea what it contains. So you have to just keep buying until you get a relic that gives you the Wraith Calling Bell at the start of the run. Once you have acquired that relic from Small Jar Bazaar, you will need to return to the round table in order to equip it. To do that, return to the round table, head straight to the side of the table where it says perform relic rite. Make sure you are using the Revenant, pick a slot and go through the relics until you find the one you got from the Small Jar Bazaar, which gives you the Wraith Calling Bell in possession at the start of expedition. If I have to recommend another relic, get anything that increases vigor for more health or one that increases your HP when you attack with a specific weapon. Another relic that I would recommend is to get a relic that restores your FP when you attack with a specific weapon. In my case, I have this equipped for extra cheese. You might not have exactly as I have, so just remember to equip anything that either increases or restores either HP or FP. Another thing that you really need for this build is to get Starlite Shards, which is used to recover more FP. In order to get these for free, you will need to locate any mage tower and open a sorcerer's rise. Once you are inside the tower, make sure you break the crate to get at least 3 of these Starlite Shards, which you will need especially on bosses who usually take longer time to defeat. If for some reason you are not able to locate any of the towers before the run ends, simply locate any of the merchants, especially one at the castle where you can buy 2 of the Starlite Shards for 1200 runes each. Do not be afraid to use them because you will get a chance to purchase 2 more additional shards from the merchant before you face the Night Lord. Starlite Shards can also be available at the start of a run if you get that specific relic, but I want to emphasize again that you absolutely do not need any of these aside the Wraith Calling Bell that I told you to get earlier. Regarding your summons, there are 3 in all, namely Helen, Frederick, and Sebastian. They all have their individual strengths and weaknesses, but the best among them is Sebastian. This is because it is bulky enough and raw to get the enemy's attention away from you. The only problem is that it only stays in one place, but he is strong and bulky enough to distract your enemies from you whilst you ring the bell from a distance. The next strongest on the summon list is Frederick, which is a little bit slow, but he is strong enough to knock enemies down easily. He does not stay in one place and moves around attacking and distracting enemies, which gives you time to ring the bell from afar, dealing damages to your enemies. And the last of your summon is Helen, which is pretty fast as compared to the others. She is not that strong like the others, but you may use her to distract your enemies whilst you wait for the other summons to be usable. So the general strategy is that you basically bring out your summons first, let your summons take your enemy's attention whilst you keep your distance and constantly ring the bell. Remember to keep your targets locked onto your enemies as you ring the bell. If not, the wraiths might fly out somewhere else if you are not locked onto your enemy. Keeping your sight and attention locked on your enemy whilst you ring the bell directs the wraiths exactly towards your targeted enemy. Depending on your distance, the rate that you release will travel slowly, but the range at which they travel is very far and they track the enemies very well, especially if you are locked onto the target. Now, the bosses you should avoid are the ones with shields. This is because they can block the raids with their shields, but it is not a problem as you can hit them from behind once the summons gets their attention. Again, always try to avoid battles that you have to fight in tight spaces because there isn't a lot of room to keep you safely away from the boss. In this situation, the raids sometimes would hit obstacles such as pillars or trees, especially if the boss moves too much. Sometimes multi-enemy fights can be a problem as well because your FP might not be enough to take them all out, especially if you do not have enough Starlite Shards equipped. In battles like this, it will be hard to find an opening to use the bell when there are too many enemies trying to hit you. But that can be solved because this is where weapon passive skills might be able to help you. Even though you are playing solo, the passive skill that makes you less likely to be targeted will be helpful because you have summons around you. With that being said, the best passive that you could get is the FP restoration when you attack. This applies on any attack that you do, including the bell. The only thing that it requires is for you to have that weapon equipped. So if you find that weapon with this passive, put it on your offhand slot to keep it active. With that in mind, the only other passive that I think you should get are the ones that boost damage negation, which comes in different flavors, but I think they can be very useful in different situations. Also, if you do find anything that increases magic attack power, that will be a good one too because it's the only stat that increases damage of your raids. But to be honest, the damage increase is not that great and I would prefer to get something that helps with FP management instead. So with this build in mind, you are good to go, but Elden Ring Nightreign is made in such a way that although you have a crazy build, you need a good route to be able to level up quick enough before the day ends and the night comes. So what is the best route to take on your expedition? Depending on where you will be dropped, look for the nearest church or sorcerer's rise that you can find. Churches give you extra flasks that you can add to your 3 default flasks. I would recommend getting at least 6 flags before facing the Night Lord. Sometimes the crates in churches also contain Starlite Shards that restores your FP. so make sure you break the crate to check them out. As I explained earlier, Sorcerer's Rise gives you free Starlite Shards that you will need to restore your FP, so make sure you hit at least 1 Mage Towers to get at least 3 Starlite Shards before the day ends. Also, make sure to take out any boss encampment along the way and only kill the boss in those camps. Do not waste your time with the small enemies unless they are in your way of picking up your loot. If you see any fire encampments on your map, drop everything and head there straight. The flame chariots are very easy to kill, dropping runes around 6,200 plus. Just jump onto their heads and press the attack button. Mind you, they explode after killing them, so find somewhere safe to stand after stabbing them. Like I said earlier, some bosses will not die even after you use all your FP, so either pop a Starlite Shard or attack them with your starting weapon to finish them off. That weapon will still do more damage than any other thing you pick up early on. With that in mind, the general gameplay and strategy for solo is not all that different compared to groups. The only difference is that the enemy's health are a lot lower because when you go in solo, it will scale down to 1 player. Another thing that's only available solo is the Winding Grace, which gives you extra life when you die. You can buy this from the merchants right before you face the Night Lord, or you can get this from the bosses, commonly the ones under the castle. They go on your consumable slots, alright, but you do not have to use them. This is because they activate automatically when you die. So with the Winding Grace taking up a consumable slot, the ideal setup will be the Wraith Calling Bell, Winding Grace, and 2 slots for Starlite Shards. If you have good FP management, then you can give up 1 slot for another Winding Grace just to be safe. So that will be it for this build. Now here's a few tips with the first Night Lord, but if you want to see a full solo run, you can find a link to that video in the description box below. At the start of the fight, summon either Helen or Frederick for now and save Sebastian for when the boss splits up into 3. Always keep your distance. Don't worry if you end up being too far away because the Wraith will still reach them. The summons die quite fast, but it's enough to get some Wraiths out. Now, when your summons are all gone, you would have to dodge away more in between ringing the bell. Maybe get 2 or 3 Wraiths out and wait to see what the boss will do. Sometimes Sebastian would not hold attention of all 3 of them, so it will be best to just keep your dodging away until the boss goes back into being one entity. When you see him grabbing his chains, start dodging away even further to avoid his chain spin attack. Do not forget your Starlite Shards when you need it. Now, in order to see what they are all doing, you just have to make sure that you are not locked onto one target, so that it doesn't move the camera all over the place, especially since they jump around so much. This will save you from any surprise attacks coming at you off target. The most dangerous attack it has is when he starts dragging the sword in the ground, and if you're not good at dodging, you could time your ultimate art to become completely invincible when he releases the fire. Do not worry about getting hit because Revenant ultimate art will prevent you from dying for approximately 15 seconds after you use it. Almost forgot to mention that using the bell also costs stamina, so make sure to save enough stamina to dodge at least 1 attack. You can walk around in between bells or however you want to do it to get your stamina back. I won't be surprised if the bell gets nerfed soon, so take full advantage of this while you can. And if you found this guide helpful, please leave a like and comment below what you think. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more guides like this in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.